Hey everybody, welcome live to the Jim Masters Show, live entertainment lifestyle, celebrity talk show series. Jim Masters here reporting for duty. My next guest is a favorite here at JMS. This is a return visit. She's got lots to share, lots to say, and lots to enjoy with all of us as we do with you. And we're so excited to have Jill Jacobson back. Yeah. Award-winning acclaimed TV and film actress. You know her, of course, from Star Trek, The Next Generation, Deep Space Nine, Falcon Crest, and of course, not only Falcon Crest, but Days of Our Lives and Quantum Leap and Newhart and so many other great shows. But of course, Falcon Crest for so many years. Yeah, so many people remember her from that. We're going to talk about that and so much more. Good to have everybody with us. We are coming to you live right now. Jim Masters and company here. And there she is from the days of Falcon Crest, which of course ran for several years on CBS. That's right. So excited to have Jill with us. Jill Jacobson is joining us live and direct from Los Angeles, California. In addition, of course, to her years on Falcon Crest on CBS, many of you know, again, as I mentioned, her time with Star Trek, both The Next Generation and Deep Space Nine. A lot of Star Trek fans out there love her from that. And she was just telling me she would love to be a part of that again as well. Absolutely. She did such great work with the Star Trek franchise and Deep Space Nine and The Next Generation. And you also recall when she starred in Nurse Sherry. That goes back a ways, right? Absolutely. And her great friend Scott Bakula, star of Quantum Leap, which of course was on NBC. Jill has done it all, and she continues to do it all. She's a star of television, stage, film, a true Hollywood star. And we are so excited to celebrate her here. As I mentioned, Newhart, yes, and the new Gidget, and even more recent, Boredom, and Mike Horror as well. We're going to talk about that. One of her very first was this one right here, and that's Bad Georgia Road. This goes back to like 1977. That was her feature film debut. And yeah, we're so excited to have her here. Did you also know that she does stand-up comedy, that she is absolutely hilarious? And she's been doing stand-up comedy for a good long time. Yeah, she sure has. She's my special guest coming up next here on the Jim Masters Show. Thanks for all the great comments coming in as well. Again, the actress who played Vanessa in the Star Trek The Next Generation second season episode, The Royale, and also in Star Trek Deep Space Nine, fourth season episode Broken Link. Best known for her recurring role as Erin Jones on the primetime soap opera Falcon Crest. From 1985 through 87, she also had a regular role on the new Gidget, as I mentioned, during the 1986-87 season, which was fantastic. And a lot of people remember that. You've been asking about that too. Back in the 1980s, she also appeared in a number of made-for-TV movies from director Stephen Hillard Stern, including 1982, Not Just Another Affair, 1983's An Uncommon Love, both starring Ed Begley Jr., with really incredible Philip Richard Allen being featured as well. And also, she later starred on another Stern project, Obsessive Love, in 1984, co-starring Alan Miller. Also, her other TV credits include guest appearances, I mentioned, on the series Quantum Leap, as well as Freddy's Nightmares. And she even was with Whoopi Goldberg, Strong Medicine. That was another great one, too. She has touched it all and done it all. As I mentioned, her role in the feature film, 1977, Bad Georgia Road, that is, starring Gary Lockwood. The following year, she played the title role for Nurse Sherry, and then she went on to many others like Splash in 1984, supporting roles in The Jigsaw Murders and Perfect Victims. And more recent, she was in Instinct to Kill, and in 2005's The Circle. And that's just the short list, folks. She's in a commercial right now as well that she's very excited about. We're just scratching the surface. We don't like to give it all away in the beginning, but it is my pleasure to welcome her back, her return visit happening right now on the Jim Masters Show. And we're coming at you live. Jill Jacobson is here. Jilly, It's Jimmy. How are you, Jilly?
Hi, Jimmy. How are you?
Fantastic. How are
So
you,
good to
sis?
see you.
You as well.
I
Sending you
didn't have
love
my
from the East
hairstylist
Coast.
here today. I'm so sorry.
It's kind of cool. A little Star Trekky.
Thank
Trekky.
you. Thank you
Yeah,
very
I
much.
love it.
I think
That's
I
it.
got it. I think I got that down.
Are the pooches there surrounding you too? Are they there?
He's outside right now.
Right in the
He's right
hallway
there.
there, right?
I've got
They
two
were
pictures.
before we went live, they were barking, scratching at the door.
Ah,
They wanted to be with Jill. Everybody loves Jill and they wanted to be with her. So she opened the
yeah,
door and let them in.
I'm the leader of the pack.
Who let the dogs in? Jill did. How
I
have you
I
been, my
love
friend?
I love dogs.
Oh, I know you
I
do.
just
I do too.
I just think I want to kill everyone that hurts them.
I
I don't
tell
want
you,
anyone hurting them at all.
no, nobody should hurt animals, especially all the unconditional love that comes, our way. They just want to love and be loved and fed, and they're good. They'll take good care of you, and they can
It
tell when you're not
keeps us
feeling well too. They
it
they
keeps
sense. They're very
yeah.
intuitive animals. Yeah, and very healing. How have you been since we chatted last, my
Oh,
friend?
I wanna everything's good.
You're doing well, huh?
Yeah. I the last checkup, did I tell you?
No, no, this would be,
Okay,
yeah.
well, it's kind of important. I had cancer, and I didn't tell you, Mr. Jimmy, I didn't tell you.
No,
I was
yeah.
battling it for like 2.5 years almost,
Right after
and,
our show. Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
I didn't tell you, did I?
No, no. This is
Because I
first
kept
for
it
me and first for our viewers as well.
yeah, I
Yeah.
kept it a secret. Kind of took me out of the game for a while. Um, it was esophageal cancer. I don't know how many of your viewers, I'm sure many of your viewers have gone through this, at least with relatives, if not themselves. Um, it took like 2.5 years of treatment. And then my last checkup is
Thank God.
one.
Esophageal cancer. Do you have any acid reflux?
Yes, that's the reason.
And that's can years of acid
How did you
reflux
know?
sort of I've looked into it too, and I've interviewed people who've gone through it. Acid reflux, and when you're laying down in bed or
Yeah, I have to sleep like this. I have to sleep up.
up. Yeah,
Hmm.
the acid reflux does a number on the stomach, but also on the throat, the vocal cords, the esophagus, and over years it can burn it, and then it can turn cancerous. So they caught it relatively early.
Right at the beginning. I urge everybody to
Get tested.
do everything you
Endoscopy, right? The
can.
endoscopy.
Yes,
Yeah,
yes.
colonoscopy
How
and
do you know so
endoscopy.
much?
I've had both. I've had
You had it?
not that this is if anybody's having dinner right now, you're having a sandwich or red
But
tomato
there is a
soup,
happy ending.
but it
So,
is very, very important. And I've always, and I've told friends, recommended, and usually when I go, it's colonoscopy and endoscopy. My
right.
physician does both and takes care of everything every couple of years. And it's very, very important because they're saying now that even with colon cancer, they expect the rates to double and triple over the next several years. There was just a report coming out about that, which is very alarming. So they're
I
really
can tell
recommending
you.
people. And they used to say, at a certain age, not necessarily. I mean, if you're not feeling right, you can go, in your 20s, your 30s, what have you. Just go and get checked, and thank God you did, right? You just weren't feeling right, felt under the weather.
I am currently dating, and I want a boyfriend. And they were taking all these, they were lovely men, and they were taking me out for very, very nice dinners, like really nice dinners. And I was throwing up. I was running to the bathroom. They thought I was just going to the bathroom, but I was basically throwing up. And then I called my doctor, my internist, and I told him, and he said, "We're going to get you checked right away." And got checked, and I found it. And I got very sad at
Sure.
the beginning, and I told my best friend, and we both cried on the phone. But you can treat, I mean, things have changed
They have.
tremendously. Um, and I want to encourage everybody that you take care of it. Don't be scared. Just take care of it and be courageous, because you've got to be courageous. You got to go through with the chemo and the radiation, and be as courageous as you can be, and don't stop. Don't stop. Just go through it. And it's good to have best friends and people that can take care of you while you're going through this. And I luckily had a best friend that was coming to, she came here for 1 month while her husband had prostate cancer. He said, go take care of Jill. She needs you more. And she flew in from Massachusetts, my angel. And she flew in from Massachusetts, stayed in my Airbnb, and took care of me for 1 month while her husband had prostate cancer. He's all better. And I guess I don't want to say anything. I'm still knocking on wood. But I think things are good. And then I knew that there was a sign. I do stand-up. And my commercial agent said, would you like to do a set? And I think he's the greatest guy in the world. Adam Liebling, I'm going to shout out to Adam Liebling. He's my producer. And so I did a show for him, and apparently people really loved it. And then a woman that was at the show asked me to do a show for her. And I thought, oh, wow, something good is happening. And then right after that, I got booked on this commercial for Fox Sports.
How cool is that, huh?
And it was so much fun. And I made a new friend. I love making new friends. And that was just recently.
That's fantastic.
Yeah, it was great. I'm so grateful.
So you're feeling well, you got stamina, good spirits.
Yeah.
And you're sharing your journey, which is very inspiring to others who might be going through this and who feel, wow, somebody I've admired on film and television, Jill Jacobson, she, I love her in this, and she starred in this, and she's human, and she bleeds, and things happen to her like they do to anybody else. It can be very inspiring to others who might not have a voice, might not have all the friends and all the connections and the ability to even get the care, to see somebody of your stature and your ability to share and be authentic and real, share it with others. It's a very beautiful and inspiring thing you're doing.
I want to say another thing. I think that as you get older, it's very important to have friends. I never realized how important it is. I always, I would have friends. Several of them have died. But it's so important to make friends. And, they keep you alive, just like your dogs keep you alive. And do everything you can to bring people in. When you're younger, you take things for granted, right, Jim? But when you get older, it's so important just to have somebody around, and what I went through was pretty intense. You can't function. You just can't function.
No.
And now I'm so grateful. I just want to keep going. I want to help people. It makes you want to help people.
It makes you want to help people. Exactly. Yes. I mean, you've been sort of helping them through life by entertaining them on film and television. And now you have this is a whole new lease on life. Do you see this as a second wind, a second chance, a second opportunity for you?
Where'd you go?
Oh, we're here. We're just giving you a nice full screen.
Oh, okay. Thank you.
So you see it as a second chance, a new lease on life in a way, what's happened here for you.
Yes. And I can't tell you all the gratitude I have. And I just want to send that off to everybody and go, have faith, be good to people.
Was
Smile.
there a time during it where you started to lose faith, question your faith, and because, why me? And a lot of the things that everybody says normally, because we're humans, why me? I take care of myself. I'm fit. I'm active.
Not
Why
only
me?
did I take care of myself, but I didn't drink, I didn't smoke, I didn't do any of the things that people do when they get esophageal cancer. None of that. I didn't understand it. I didn't understand why it was happening. But then I thought, as I kept going along with the chemo and the radiation, I just thought, whatever's going to happen is going to happen. I didn't know. And now it just makes me even more want to help and be good there. I mean, what I'd like to do is adopt all the dogs in the world. I have a big house and I wish I could just adopt every doggy, because I think they're angels. I think dogs are angels.
How many do you have now?
Only two.
The two.
Because Benny, we brought in, I'm connected to some rescues, and I'm connected to this rescue that they try to adopt out dogs that are, and they could be babies too, and they could be the most expensive dogs in the world, but they're set to be euthanized, and that breaks my heart. So I'm connected, but we did have one day, they brought over a weenie dog, a dachshund, and she had been, I call it raped. She had been raped since she was a baby. And they brought her over, and she was 4 years old now. And she had been forced to have like four litters. And Benny and Kowalski, well, Benny didn't like her. And I don't want to upset the apple cart because this is Benny's house. But she bared her teeth and growled at him, which I don't blame her. She had been raped. What's it called? The other word for rape?
Molested?
She was forced
molested?
She was forced to have litters. And she bared her teeth and was growling at Benny. And, I don't blame her. She didn't want to be here. I have two boys. And, but I do love dachshunds. Yeah. I think they're the cutest things in the world. Anyway, we'll see how things go, but they're just so happy here.
They're right there below you. They're sitting right there next to you, right?
Benny left the room. He just wants to know where I am.
Wants to know where you are, and you're safe and sound, and
all the time
you're okay. And right? Yeah, because before we went live, folks, he was like scratching at the door, barking. He wanted in. He wanted to know Jill was fine.
Well, see, Kowalski was at the bottom of the stairs, and he kept barking at him to move away so he could come upstairs and be around me. Because we're lovers.
How'd you come up with the name Benny and Kowalski? How did that happen?
That's a good question. So the first play that I produced, I was kind of a baby, was Rocket to the Moon. Gorgeous play by Clifford Odets. And it was such an amazing experience. As I was like 30 years old producing a play.
Yes.
And and I was playing the lead, Cleo Singer. And my leading man's name in the play was Benny. And it was a deep, deep love story, unrequited love. I think I mentioned that to you before. Mm-hmm. I think the easiest thing in the world for me to play is unrequited love, because it's you you almost have it, but then you don't have it. You can't have it. So it was a story about a dentist that I encourage everybody to read this play. It's so beautiful.
Still touches it today, doesn't it?
So gorgeous. It's so gorgeous. I was the young ingenue lead, and she falls in love with the dentist. I was the dental assistant, but the dentist was married. And even though he had a horrible marriage, he didn't have the courage to leave his wife. And it's a heartbreaker. So anyway, I produced it, and we ended up winning 6 Drama Log Awards. My first time out. Yes, it meant the world to me, this play. I have it on tape. It's just exquisite. And we did it like on a shoestring budget. Nowadays, you couldn't do it like that. And my first time out producing. It's gorgeous. Please read it. Anybody that gets a chance and likes to read Clifford Odets' Rocket to the Moon. I'm sure people have already.
Is that what sort of spurred your interest?
And he got his name.
Is that what sort of spurred your interest in producing? Was that first taste of it then?
I had a great acting coach. My acting coach was Milton Gonzalez. I'm sure a lot of people know the name Milton Gonzalez. My first acting coach was Peggy Fury. She was the greatest in the world. And that was all the young movie stars were in my class. We were babies. And she died, and I ended up going to Milton. And Milton, the greatest gift that he gave me was, please produce. And he was right, because we all have to produce so we can work. I mean, look at everybody's producing now. So that was my first time out. And then subsequently, I was producing other shows. But that was phenomenal. 6 Drama Log Awards. That was amazing. And that's where Benny got his name.
So that's where Benny got his name.
And then, why don't you ask how Kowalski got his name?
How did Kowalski get his name?
Well, you could probably guess that. Right?
We want to hear your story. We love the way you tell it.
So many times I was asked to do A Streetcar Named Desire. I was brought in to do the play, and one reason or another, the money fell out. Something would fall out, and I never got to do a complete production of Streetcar. I mean, I understand Streetcar. Let me put it that way. It's another unrequited love story. So we all know what character made Marlon Brando famous? Stanley Kowalski. So there is Kowalski's name.
Ah, very
ingenious.
ingenious.
I've done that for years, you know.
Yeah.
I had a dog that died. I loved her so much. I named her Alma, for Miss Alma.
Alma.
Remember Miss Alma?
Yes, right. And that's not a name you hear that often. Boy.
Summer and Smoke.
Wow.
So I produced Summer and Smoke at the Odyssey Theater here, and we won Best Production of the Year. It was amazing. It was heart-wrenching because that's unrequited love again. Do you remember it all? The movie?
Yes. Yeah.
Anyway, it's
incredible.
Miss Alma falls in love with the doctor, who was her next door neighbor, and they grew up next door to each other. But Miss Alma was a prude and a virgin, and he wasn't. And
sometimes those two things go hand in hand.
Or not. And in this case, they did not go hand
Right.
in hand. And Miss Alma was always in love with Johnny Buchanan.
That's right.
Oh, it's so beautiful. That's another one. You know, I wish that the youth of America would read these plays or at least see the movies. They're so great. I wish that don't you wish that
Sure.
everybody knew?
Absolutely. Yes.
I mean,
Yes.
there's so much out there that you mentioned. Like if I mentioned I'm around a lot of young people. And when I say that, I mean in their 20s, 30s. And I say, do you know who Marlon Brando was? And you know what the answer is? What? Who? What? It's upsetting to me. You don't know Marlon Brando, one of the greatest actors of all times.
Don't even ask them who Vivian Vance or Jackie Gleason are.
Forget about it.
That's
It's
it.
very upsetting.
Ernie Kovacs, they'll never get that one.
But I mean, they're missing out
On the history, tradition, and the heritage and incredible talents. Yeah.
and all they have to. I mean, everything's streamed.
It's all there. You can actually
Like, it's so easy.
dig deep, right? How
Like
did
I was telling a story. I don't know if I told you the story last time, but my father was a flight surgeon in World War II, and his colonel was Jimmy Stewart. Did you know? You knew Jimmy Stewart left being an actor to go into service, which a lot of big actors did in those days.
Mm-hmm.
So Jimmy Stewart was my father's colonel, and my father was the flight surgeon in World War II, and they had small little planes. And my father, who was not an inventor, invented bifocal lenses that they used in the war.
Wow.
So Jimmy Stewart decided that he wanted to award him the what is the it's on my wall. Hold on.
Oh, that's great. You have it. Yeah.
I have it on my wall.
We get to see the chair too. Our collection of celebrity chairs.
Okay.
Only on the Jim Master Show.
You want to see it?
Yeah, we would love to see it.
Okay.
Yeah, the Bronze Star. Absolutely. What an honor.
Check this out. Jimmy Stewart gave this to my dad.
Jimmy Stewart gave it to your dad. What was your dad's first name?
Harry Jacobson.
Harry Jacobson. Here we go.
Is that cool or what?
That is beautiful.
And then I have the
Does it have the year on it?
The newspaper article. Hold on.
That is very cool. We're getting a chance to see this up close. The Bronze Star. Jimmy Stewart gave it to Jill's father.
Hey,
He's taking things off the wall for us here.
I wasn't born yet. It was during World War II. What were the years of World War II? Do you know? The years for World War II? I
wasn't even a glimmer of
Me neither. Stop. It was during the war. My sister was
September 1st, 1939, through September 2nd, 1945. World War II.
Isn't that wild? Neither one of us was here.
No.
And
way after.
I wanted so badly. I don't think I told you this, but when I moved here, I wanted so badly to meet Jimmy Stewart and tell him the story of my dad. And anyway, when I finally was around him at the racetrack one day when I was with my first husband, I was moving towards him to talk to him, and he had extreme Alzheimer's at that point, and I couldn't have done it, you know. he would never remembered my father. I mean, it would have been, he wouldn't have remembered my dad. He would have remembered it had it been years earlier, because they had such small planes that they used in the war. But wouldn't that have been cool?
Yeah,
To tell
absolutely.
him.
Sure.
Anyway, I'm very proud.
You should be.
Very, very proud.
Absolutely. That's a beautiful, beautiful honor. And the fact that you have it there. Thanks for sharing that.
And that's another thing, is when I tell the story to people that are a little younger, I say Jimmy Stewart and they go, who?
They don't even know It's a Wonderful Life or any of that, right?
How do you not know that? Come on, it's every year it's on TV.
It's on TV. Well, ask them what television is. Even that.
Right.
And don't even start with radio.
Oh my goodness.
It's a whole other.
Oh, you're right.
Speaking of television, I know we chatted a little bit about this last time. How did Falcon Crest come your way?
I had met and I would pursue, when I met people, I would pursue them and say, I'm doing a play, and I was constantly doing theater. And I would say, come see me in this, come see me in this. And they came to see me, and they liked what I was doing. I think it was Rocket to the Moon. I'm not sure. It could have been any number of plays. But I asked them to come. They came to see me, and they liked what I was doing, and they put me in a guest star role. I auditioned for it. And then I got cast in a guest star role, which was Erin Jones. They didn't know where Erin Jones was going, and it was the first episode of Erin Jones, and I was doing the evil deeds for Angela Channing, Jane Wyman. And so I did it, and apparently people liked it.
Yes.
They liked what I did, because they didn't have anybody really evil on the show. They didn't have a mix of people. And then they learned, I think they brought me back after several months or so. And then they brought me back, and they realized that I like to do comedic things as well. And I was game. I was game for anything kind of weird. And one thing led to another. And they thought, God, we could use her on the show. And it just ended up, it kind of catapulted from one single guest star to 2 years on the show.
Which was an incredible run. And we even have
I loved it so much.
Falcon Crest, very popular series on CBS. We even have a short little clip from back then when Jill starred on Falcon Crest. Take you back in time here on the Jim Masters Show Live, everybody. Take a look at this. Jill Jacobson doing her thing on the beloved series Falcon Crest.
Girl.
My hair is still there.
He didn't need many lines in that scene.
I love David Selby. I love that.
A great actor, right?
Yeah, we used to play bridge together.
Oh, I know.
Yeah, he and his wife, and me and my husband.
I want to take people back in time a little bit with another clip we have, an episode with, of course, Angie Dickinson, Policewoman. How did that happen?
Policewoman Centerfold.
Yes.
I auditioned for it. It was Stephen Stern. Well, I think it was Stephen Stern, right? So I think Stephen liked me. I don't know how we met, but we met, and Stephen found out early on that I was game for anything, and I would do kooky things. So I ended up doing 6 or 7 TV movies with Stephen Stern.
You did, right? Exactly.
Yeah, a lot. But those were the days. That we were doing a million TV movies. They were on TV every night.
Movie of the week, everything. Yeah, exactly.
What happened to that?
Jill Jacobson doing her thing on Policewoman. Take a look, gang. Boy, that takes you back, huh? Wow. Incredible. Phew. You know, as I was mentioning to the audience in the beginning, you have graced us with your talent on television and in film in so many different kinds of shows, movies, and series, from comedy to drama to suspense and thriller. Really, it's absolutely incredible. Here's a clip from even Who's the Boss? The Situation comedy. Take a look, folks, on ABC. Tony Danza and Company.
Excuse me, fellas. That's for you.
Oh, hey, thank you.
And that's for you. Use it to buy a personality.
You tell him. Really fantastic. You know, somebody else, I know you really enjoyed working with him, and it was a terrific series on NBC, Quantum Leap. Scott Bakula, huh?
I just got goosebumps. Honestly, I got to tell you one thing. Of all the shows I've done, and I've done quite a few shows, there's something about my time on Quantum Leap that's so meaningful.
Yeah.
I don't even understand
what it is, or?
Well, it took place in a synagogue, and I am a Jew. I'm a Jew-boo. I'm a Jewish Buddhist. There's something, it took place in a synagogue, and we did the horror, and I got to, it was, okay, I had a big crush on, my whole life, I had a big crush on, who was Riff in West Side Story. Help me out, please.
Oh, yes,
Riff.
yes.
Oh, come on. Somebody.
No, we just had George Takeiris on recently, too, from West Side Story.
I loved him so much since I was a little girl. And the first day I shot, I did the first scene of the week of the shoot. And I went to, I was talking about the fact that I was having an affair, and I was telling a story of me having an affair. So I was crying at the end of the scene. And then after we finished shooting that day, I turned to my director and I said, oh, by the way, who's playing the man that I'm having the affair with? Oh, and he said, Russ Tamblyn. And I went, you're kidding. You're kidding. Ever since I was a little girl, I've had the biggest crush on Russ Tamblyn. I'm sure I'm not the only one. But oh my God, the leader of the Jets. Oh, so the whole week. So the next day he shows up, and I followed him around like a puppy dog. And he told me, did I tell you this?
No, not this story.
Stories.
No.
He told me the most amazing stories.
Your light is getting a little dark. Can you slide it a little closer to you?
Yeah.
The sun is probably changing behind you. Perfect. Look at that. $1 million smile. Now you see her smile.
Good.
So you always had a nice
crush.
A crush.
Beyond big crush of Russ Tamblyn. And I got to spend the entire week with him. And we shot in a synagogue. And I did the horror with Russ Tamblyn. And I mean, it was a dream. It was honestly a dream come true. And I loved that shoot so much. It was okay. Go ahead, show it.
Well, we have a little clip here from Quantum Leap with Jill Jacobson. Again, she's been on our TV screens and film, movies, stages for a long time. And here is Quantum Leap. Little clip when it appeared on NBC. Take a look, gang.
Rabbi, he said he was doing research for his book, and it just got out of hand. Rabbi, what should I do?
I think we should set up another appointment.
Huh?
Huh? What?
I mean, it was like, I'm trying to send you a copy of this commercial. Hold on.
The Fox.
Yeah. How do I send it to you?
You can send it to our. Yeah, you have the
text.
email. So just send it to the email. You know, the one. Just
I got your text right here. Can I do it?
It might be difficult for us to retrieve it because we're live. But if you send it to the email, we can try to retrieve it while the show's on live. And while you're doing that, we have another clip we want to show here.
Okay.
Days of Our Lives. How did that happen?
Wow.
You love the
I guess
soaps.
I've kind of been around, huh?
You've done it all, Jill. All the
I guess
networks.
I've kind of been around.
Yeah, because people, you're talented and people love working with you.
May they still. I'd like to work until I'm dead. And I don't have any plans to die.
Absolutely not. You have many, many more visits here on the Jim Masters show. So Days of Our Lives. Everybody loves that. And that it's hard to believe that series. It's unreal. It's so beloved.
I know.
Still on to this day when a lot of soaps have come and gone or daytime dramas, Days of Our Lives is still there. Did you enjoy being on that?
I loved it.
Yeah.
I think I loved. There was only one situation that I didn't love where the director was mean to me. But I think everybody's got at least one, you know, if they've had a long career. I think everybody's had one bad experience.
Where you just didn't like the atmosphere or the people or the job.
You never forget it.
You'll never forget it.
You
try to avoid it as much as you can.
Remember the good stuff.
Right.
I really do.
Here's that clip, everybody, from the daytime drama soap opera on NBC that's still, as of today, on NBC, Days of Our Lives. Jill Jacobson, once again, she's a star.
Two women have been strangled recently. Have you read anything about it?
Do you remember if you saw Todd the night the second girl was murdered? It's very important. Todd's my brother, and if you saw him, it would help because it's possible he's going to be charged with that murder.
Hey, let me help you.
It's okay.
No, I don't mind, Miss,
Adrita Adler.
Hi, Adrita. I'm Mickey Horton. Mrs. Adler?
Yes.
Oh. So, what do you know about Todd?
What makes you think I know anything?
Oh, just the way you reacted when you heard his name. You know, anything that you tell me would be held in strictest confidence.
I've got nothing to say.
Adrita, I am convinced that Todd is innocent, but if I'm going to prove that, I need some help.
I hope you find that help.
Well, I think I have. You could clear Todd, couldn't you? Adrita, you don't have to worry about your husband ever finding out what you tell me. Now, wouldn't you like to help me make Todd a free man again?
I felt sorry for him. He's a sweet guy. He's all mixed up.
Were you with him that night? Adrita, go with me and make a statement. And I guarantee you that the statement would never be made public because that would free Todd. There would never be a trial.
Todd couldn't have killed Denise because I spent the night with him.
Okay. Go with me and make that statement, will you?
I don't want to tell Barney about this.
I was such a little baby girl.
And did you end up telling Barney about that? Or Mickey Horton, the Horton family, the iconic on the Days of Our Lives series.
Wow.
Oh, yeah.
Wow. It was
McDonald
such,
Carey, Frances Reed as Alice. Yeah.
it was such the good old days.
Do you miss them? Do you
Of
miss that
course.
time? Yeah.
You?
We had Paul Peterson on last night, Donna Reed show and everything else. And he was saying the same thing. He really, these shows and these times and these feelings and the warmth and everything that came with them, uh, people are craving and missing and wanting more because everything is so
How
dissected
do you
and
get it back?
yeah, everything is
Get it
quick and
back?
fast. And there's no feeling and warmth in a lot of things anymore. It's just wham, bam, do it. And, people
You
like
know,
to
I,
have some feeling,
my doctor, my internist, I've been with him for like 25 years, motion picture internist. And he's one of my dear friends. I adore him. And the other day I was like, oh, I hate these self-tapes. We all do. We basically I don't know if you've heard about it, but it's horrible.
I've had to do some for commercials and other things. Yeah, you set everything up yourself and there's no direction, there's no nothing, and you don't know the lighting and
There's
everything.
no
And
interaction. You don't get to meet
there's no
anybody.
rapport with the right.
And so he just told me the other day, he said, Jill, you're a schmoozer. He said, you've always been a schmoozer. And that's how I've gotten jobs, was meeting people. My first starring role in a major feature film was Blake Edwards. Talking to him about film, I thought I was a big shot. I was a baby. And I would talk to people about film because I'm a film major.
Is that Bad Georgia Road?
No, Blake Edwards. The first film I got cast in, major film, was SOB.
Oh, that's right. Yes, that's right.
And you don't get to meet people. That's another thing, because I got to meet and work a little bit with Ron Howard.
Oh yeah.
When they went away to shoot Splash, and they came back to do pickup shots in LA, and Ron called me at home, and because I had auditioned for Night Shift. Remember Night Shift? Anyway, I had auditioned for Night Shift,
Yeah.
and I didn't get it because his partner didn't necessarily want me. He wanted his fiance in the role. And so when it came to Splash, Ron called me and said, Jill, I know you love doing improv, which I do. I love doing improv. And and he said, would you mind, can you work tomorrow with John Candy?
Wow.
And
Wow.
the next day I said, sure. And I didn't think anybody would see the movie. And I worked 14 hours with John Candy.
What was that like? That had to be some experience.
He was so nice. He was so lovely. I mean, it's such a teeny scene.
But still.
But oh my goodness.
The opportunity and yeah.
They even wrote a book about him and they wanted me to say something. I said, oh, come on. There are people that have worked with him that have known him way better than me. And they said, no, we really want to hear what you have to say. And I'm like, wow, okay. I mean, what an amazing man.
Gone way too soon. An extraordinary quick wit, sense of humor, timing, all of those things coming up the ranks from SCTV, Second City, and all of that.
And then we just lost Bob Newhart.
Bob Newhart. Yes, we thought that Bob Newhart would be with us forever, and you had an opportunity
Oh,
to
I'm
be.
so grateful.
Yeah.
I'm so grateful.
You were working with some real veterans as well.
Oh my goodness.
What was that like?
That's who I worked with.
Yeah.
Did I tell you one day, he was so accessible. One day we were in the middle of, working the scenes. You had to, it was so hard because you had to be perfect. Because there was a big studio audience that was coming in, and I was playing a waitress in the gun and musket room. It was a recurring role. And one day in between rehearsal, he was just sitting at the table all by himself. And I went and sat next to him. And I said, how do you know when it's funny? How do you really know? And this is what he said to me. Well, I said, you know what? You just gave me the answer. That's how he did his comedy.
It's his famous stutter, right? Exactly. And thinking. That's
and then
amazing.
I started doing it.
Are you able to slide the chair a little bit closer to the? Ah, there you go. Much better. Look at the difference. Yeah.
And
Somehow there's a dark spot. Like there's a real black hole on the left side of the room. Look at the difference. There's Jilly. You've had an opportunity. Here's another one. Party Down. Tell us about Party Down. We have a tiny clip from Party Down.
I had no idea that became a cult film. That became a cult hit. I didn't know that when I got the part. And working with Megan Mullally, wow. So we're in the middle of shooting, and I realized that she was an improvisational genius. She is an improvisational genius. So here I am in the middle of shooting with her, and she just takes off. Like, she went crazy. And I realized, back off. And that was the mature Jill that was like, back off and let her go. And that's what I had to do. So no matter what my lines were, take it away, Megan Mullally.
And Jill Jacobson, Party Down.
It only gets worse. My daughter just quit on me.
On her own, mother. What did she do?
Singing shoe.
What is that?
Discount shoe center. We run local ads. She was our singing shoe.
Huh?
Gave proof through the
Look at this little thing. She's a triple threat. She sings, dances, acts. She's beautiful. She'd be adorable as a shoe.
And then she became a huge star. What's her?
And she became a huge star after that.
Yeah.
Speaking of being a star, you are so identified not only with Falcon Crest and all these other pieces of work and movies, the Star Trek, franchise, The Next Generation, Deep Space Nine. I mean, people can't get enough of anything tied to that Star Trek name. How did that opportunity come your way to be brought into that Star Trek franchise? And everybody's so glad that you did.
Oh, thank you so much. Those are two different series. I was not really, that's Falcon Crest.
That's Falcon.
I wasn't being represented very well, I didn't think.
Mm.
And I opened up my own management company. And we would get the breakdowns every day. The breakdowns tell you what's available that you can go up for. And anyway, so I got the breakdown for Star Trek. And I knew the casting director. She had liked me before. And so I sent in through my management company, I sent my picture and resume for Star Trek, for Next Generation. One thing led to another, and they brought me in, and I auditioned, and no one could figure out what it was about because you don't really know what it's about. It's like whatever you come up with is what they're going to either like or not like. And I auditioned, and then the word came back that it was between me and another girl. And I might as well say it now, it doesn't matter. The other girl was represented by my agent that did not send me in for the part. They didn't send me in for the part. I sent myself in for the part.
Did you really? Yeah.
Yeah. And it was between me and this other girl. And then they picked me. I still gave my agent 10%. But, I mean, it was kind of dirty, right? I had the greatest time. I became good friends with the away team.
Mhm.
I had already known who was the captain. I had already known him, but I fell in love with Brent Spiner.
Mm.
Oh my goodness, he was so cool and so much fun. And Brent Spiner and Worf, and I mean, I worked my first pilot I did with Armin Shimmerman, who was on the show. So and years before, who was the colonel? Oh, it'll come to me. Anyway, so it was great. It was great. I had the best time ever. And Noble Winningham was the older gentleman that kept trying to pick up on me.
We have a clip from Star Trek: The Next
Good.
Generation. We
Good.
just happen to have one
You're
here
great.
queued up. Here is Jill Jacobson once again, everybody, doing her thing, this time now on Star Trek: The Next Generation.
Pretty smooth.
It's cool stuff. And then, of course, Deep Space Nine. Who can forget that? Another opportunity coming your way, huh? To sort of continue with everything. Isn't that great?
Well, I don't think the producers knew that I got it. I don't. It was casting that cast me.
Right.
And we liked each other so much. But when I came to the set, they were like, "Oh, it's you again." I don't think they knew. And then here I was. And I guess I was playing kind of the sex goddess or whatever. Right?
Goddess. I like the way you said that.
I guess.
Take a look, folks. Here she is, Deep Space Nine.
I own the Celestial Cafe, the new Bajoran restaurant overlooking the promenade.
I'm familiar with it.
I watch you walk by every morning when you're on patrol. 0937. You're very precise. I was hoping one day you might stop in when you're not working.
I don't eat.
I do, and I hate to eat alone.
Where does being a part of the Star Trek franchise rank for you in terms of the body of work and all that you've done? Where is that in the ranking? Is that some of your personal favorites work, or where does that rank for you? I know it's hard because you've done so much and you love it all, but where does that rank for you?
Well, people go crazy over Star Trek.
They do, yes.
They may not know Falcon Crest. They may not know all my other shows. But when you mention Star Trek, they go, what? You're on Star Trek? And then they go nuts. And I think that they assume, during the pandemic, everything was streaming. And all my shows were streaming. And all of a sudden, I had a fan base. And the fan base was like 14-year-olds. And they went crazy over me. And they found out where I lived.
Did they really? Wow.
And it was bad. It wasn't good. They were like 14-year-old juvenile delinquents, essentially. They found out where I lived, and they would come to my gate, and they would scream. And It was bad.
They
I
wanted
got
to
really good security. It stopped. But
did you go
Oh,
to
it's
those, those conventions, Comic-Con, Star Trek cons, and yeah.
at the beginning I did.
Yeah.
I
Lines of people for
Yeah.
hours, right? That want to say hi and
Well, the one I remember, the last one, this was a while ago. I remember just going to the convention and somebody wanted to interview me. And I was just walking down the hall waiting to meet this person. And he screamed out, "Vanessa! It's Vanessa!" And I didn't realize that Vanessa had made such an impression. But I think that a lot of people thought in their minds, I think they thought she was the perfect woman. Gullible, sweet, unaware, kind of. Well, and then, Deep Space Nine comes along and she's kind of sweet too, right? Sweet. And I mean, he melted. Odo melted after that. When I shook his hand, the whole episode was about bringing him back to life.
Right.
He melted. But he did come back.
But he did come,
and I did get to see him again. So that was good. I would love to be back on that show. It would be so wonderful.
Everybody would love that too. Yes. I mentioned all these shows, and we're just scratching the surface of all the movies in the show, just sort of meandering through your incredible journey. You also had an opportunity to be on Castle, which was a popular one on ABC. Tell us about that. We got a little clip from that too.
Oh, good. Oh, wow. You've done your own work.
Did a lot of work. Yeah.
Really. For some reason, I went into a place. It was so much fun. Oh, it was so much fun. My last two boyfriends, I think it's the best thing I've ever done. And it's very short. It's not long. But I got to play this New York woman that I was married to a older guy, kind of mafioso. And I got to let it all hang out. Even with the clothes, I got to let it all hang out. And they gave me all the room I needed to just get crazy. So I did.
That's so cool, huh? When they give you that opportunity to do that.
That's the coolest. I want it again, please.
Kind of like you did for Megan when you let her, Mullally, you let her breathe and do her thing. You've been doing this for a long time. You're a professional. She probably looks up to you, and yet you're giving her the space to breathe and develop herself. That's not everybody does that. That's very kind of you to do that, and you appreciate when it's done for you. And it's rare when that happens, right?
Well, I think that's what the business was about. I don't know what's going on now, but I mean, the commercial I just did, we were all getting along. It was just me and two other women. And we all got along really well. We liked each other. But I don't think people learn that. I don't know if they still learn it. Like with Megan, you knew she was a genius and go take it away. But they let me do it on Castle. They just let me go.
And we have evidence of that here with a clip from Castle, which,
Sure.
Of course, quick little clip here. Of course, the series was on ABC. And here it is, Jill Jacobson doing her thing.
Now that Vince Bianchi's death is officially a homicide, we are re-interviewing all of his former enemies, including yourself. Now, Is it possible for you to tell me where you were on July 30th, 1978?
I speak for my husband, Louis the Lip here, when I tell you that he had no part in whacking Vince Bianchi. And even if he did, he doesn't remember.
What she said.
What did the doctor tell you? What are you trying to do, make me a widow? You promised the doctor not to do that.
Excuse me for a
anymore.
minute, please.
You're gonna put yourself in an early grave.
Man, I'm spinning my wheels on this thing.
You nailed that. No matter what coast it is, you can nail it.
So much fun. So much fun.
Have you ever had an opportunity? Well, I'm sure that everybody has these opportunities that happen where you're coming in as a guest star, or one episode, maybe two, and you're like, I really like these people. I like the storyline. I like the show itself. I'm a fan of it. I really hope that they expand it further and further, and I become maybe a regular on it. Is that other shows that you've worked on where that was always the hope?
Oh, well, Falcon Crest. I mean, look at it. I came on as one guest star, a one-shot guest star, and became 2 years. I had no idea that the writers were so good. The writers were so clever, and they saw an opportunity to use me on the show. And I think people really appreciated Miss Jones. They saw that I was kind of goofy, there's a scene, I wish you could show this one, where I had to bail Jane Wyman out from going to jail.
Wow.
And I was the only one being interrogated in a courtroom.
Mm.
And I had to play crazy, like crazy.
Yeah.
Just to bail her out.
Mm.
And the whole cast was there watching me. And I talked about my cat, Lemuel, and that Lemuel was my most important advisor in my quest for information, my cat. And it was a big deal.
That's incredible. Talking about television and film, and our viewers are sharing wonderful memories as well. We thank them for doing that. Stand up. When did the stand up part of your life happen? Because you're very funny and quick witted, and you like to work with the audience.
Yes.
When did that happen?
2011.
Oh, really? Wow.
Yeah.
Was it that you noticed it, or did people notice it in you and say, you got to get out there and do this?
I was in a kind of a class situation, and one of the women in the class said, you're really funny. Have you ever thought about doing stand-up? And I said, no, I never thought about it. And she said, if you take a class in stand-up, I will book you. I'll book you right away. And I said, okay. And she told me which class to take. And I did. And I made a best friend in the class. And I started, you have to go out almost every night, and you have to perform almost every night at every club. And that's what I did. And then when we did the performance, my first performance through the class, because I had so many years as an actor, nothing scared me. So it became second nature to me. I'm a storyteller.
Yeah.
That's who I am. And I just wish everybody would let me tell a story.
Well, there was a time, going back a little bit, at the Laugh Factory where you were doing just that. Take a look, folks. Jill Jacobson.
Oh, that was
Laugh Factory.
Oh, wow.
This is very, very exciting. This is is a really good-looking crowd tonight. Wow! There are so many young hot zebras here tonight. Whoa! I feel like a cougar. With an all-you-can-eat zebra buffet. Row! Row! Row!
You know,
I can be a bit raunchy. Yeah.
I could see you laughing when it was playing. Well, not anybody can just show up at the Laugh Factory and, get on the stage. That's it's quite an honor to be on those stages.
That was the craziest night ever. Okay. So I can't remember his name, but he's the #1 Iranian comic. Oh gosh, I forgot his name. Anyway, and that'll come to me too later.
Oh yeah, I can.
Help. What's his name? Jabrani. Help.
Is it? Yeah, I can picture him too. I mean, I know some of the others. I know Sebastian Maniscalco.
He's like famous.
Yeah.
So famous.
Yeah.
Anyway, so my friends and we were across the street having dinner before my show, all of us. And all of a sudden, the lineup at the Laugh Factory started, it was all around the block. And I thought, oh, are they coming to see me? I freaked out. I was like, oh my God, what's going on? So I go across the street and they've got the fire marshal that said, no more people allowed. And we're going to shut it off. There are too many people. And all of a sudden I found out I was the opening act for, what's his name?
For the comic.
What's his name? I was his opening act and no one told me that I was. So the whole audience was Persian. And
it's not Omar, is it?
No, Jabrani. Anyway, I knew that the women in the audience were going to hate what I was doing on stage, but the men loved it. It was all Persian. And my husband at the time was sitting in the audience and I could see him. And I was doing, they were a bit raunchy. And he looked at me and he went like this. No, he told me not to do it. And I was looking at him while I was doing the show.
It's not a mirror.
It's so close. Jabrani.
Yeah.
He's so famous.
I know. There's quite a few of them right now.
That's watching would know.
Yes.
Something Jabrani. Yeah. Anyway, so he told me not to do it. But what could I do? I mean, I was ready. And sure enough, after the show, the men came running up to me and the women, I thought they were going to kill me because they didn't like the sexuality coming from a woman.
It's not Omid Djali, is it? Because there's another.
Maz Jabrani.
I knew it.
He's so famous. It was.
I haven't seen him yet. No, I've seen Sebastian Maniscalco, some of the others, but he's one. We can't get in, right?
He's so famous, and here I was opening for him, and I had no idea. No one told me.
You had no idea.
And
right?
I had a publicist at that point, and they didn't tell me.
They didn't tell you.
You. And I was doing a show that the Persian women did not like.
It was a totally different sort of mindset.
It was crazy. I was just.
You were also.
What?
Nurse Sherry.
Oh my God. People went crazy over this.
Yes, huh?
They
cult following for that too.
Big cult following.
Yes.
Quentin Tarantino
mm-hmm.
looked at me one night. I went up to him and I had pictures from Nurse Sherry And I held out a picture, and he said, "Oh my fucking God, you're Nurse Sherry." That was kind of cool.
I was going to say, yeah, the scope of what you've done. You were even in the new Gidget. You were in that. Boredom, something more recent. And Mike Horror, too. Tell us about that.
It's funny. Did you watch it?
Yes. Tell the audience about it. It's cool.
I think it explains
Yeah.
how you get bitten by the bug. And the bug is you get a laugh and you think, oh my goodness, I'm funny.
Right.
I should keep doing this.
Right. And you want
And
the mic in
it's-
your hand all the time. Right.
And you get bitten by the bug. And this is what happens in my core is I get bitten by the bug and I'm so desperate to get back on stage that at the end, it's only 5 minutes. At the end, I get on stage. I get a job on stage. Not the kind of job that you'd want, but I get a job on stage. It's very funny. I recommend if somebody wants to laugh. It's only 5 minutes.
Going back in time.
MICWHORE, my core.
Yeah, exactly. Going way back in time. This was a biggie in the beginning, huh? Bad Georgia Road. That goes back to like 77, I think, or so. Yeah.
Yes.
Somewhere.
I was a baby. Baby.
I mean, the opportunities came early for you, huh?
Yeah, but they weren't every day. You know, I didn't
It
have
never
an
is it?
opportunity every day.
Right.
But and I wasn't when I shot Nurse Sherry, I wasn't proud because you know, there was a little piece of nudity in it. It's a horror film. Al Adamson. A lot of people know Al Adamson. And but then it went on and on and on to become a cult film. And
have you ever had material where they really, really wanted you for it, but you're like, it just doesn't suit me, it doesn't fit me, I appreciate the offer, but I'm going to pass on it? Has that happened a lot over the years and you become more selective as you go along?
Unfortunately, it happened with Blake Edwards with SOB. I was very young, and I was a film major from college, and I got the opportunity. Well, head of casting at Lorimar, Barbara Miller, met with me, and I was wearing a slenderizing bra that held me in and jeans. And I met with Barbara Miller, and she said, and I just started talking. I never stopped talking. I guess you can tell. And
you're very passionate and enthusiastic.
Yeah. And I started talking, and she said, "You're going to get this part." And I said, "Please don't say that." And she said, "Okay, I won't say it, but you're going to book this role." And I said, "Oh, just don't say it." So then she sent me in to see Blake Edwards. For people that don't know who Blake Edwards is, one of the greatest directors, writers, producers of all time. Days of Wine and Roses, Breakfast at Tiffany's, Pink Panther, on and on and on.
Husband of Julie Andrews.
And anyway, so I go in to meet Blake Edwards and his producer, Tony Adams. And I'm wearing the same top and jeans. And I was wearing a slenderizing bra. And the reason I say that is the story. So I met with him, and the night before, remember TV Guide? Remember we used to have TV Guide?
I used to collect them. Yeah.
Right. I love TV Guide. So in it, the night before I was going to meet with him, they had a Blake Edwards movie that was going to be on late night on TV. And I had to watch it. I stayed up all night to watch a movie called The Carrie Treatment. And I watched it all night long. And then the next morning I had to get up and go meet him. And I walked in the room, and I'm a film major. I thought I was a big shot. I was 20 years old. And I walked in the room, and I said, I saw one of your movies last night. And he said, oh, you saw 10. And I said, I've seen 10 and I liked it a lot. But I saw another one of your movies. He said, what? And I said, I watched The Carrie Treatment last night. And then I went on and on about camera angles and lighting. And he thought, who is this little girl? Who is she that she's talking to me about camera angles and lighting on The Carrie Treatment? Anyway, I guess I was the only one out of 150 girls for the part that he brought in to do screen test. And the screen test was primarily to find out if his daughter, who was playing the other hitchhiker, and myself, another hitchhiker, would be chemically, if there was chemistry. And so I thought, how am I going to connect with Jennifer, his daughter? And it just hit me. Apples. So I went to the grocery store and I got 2 apples for hitchhikers, right? I mean, what else do hitchhikers do? They eat apples. So I bring an apple to the set to give to Jennifer and one for me. And then he starts, I never got a script. And I did ultimately, but so he's asking me questions about my character. And I'm going on and on about my character. She's from Texas and she lives her life from movies, and she eats very healthy food and she loves vitamins. Everything about myself I talked about. And he thought, who is this? And of course, Jennifer and I got along really well. And then I went out to lunch with one of my agents. And this was in the days before cell phones. And my agency called the restaurant where we were and said, you booked the role. And I was like, wow. And that was from schmoozing, right? Schmoozing, that's the key. And I wish we could do it again. I like to schmooze. So I booked the role. And then I read the script after they sent me the script. And there was a part of the script that I'm in as Babs that I was like, I can't do this. I can't do it. And the reason was my character was supposed to have fake boobs, silicone boobs. And I had real boobs that were enormous boobs. And I thought, it's not going to work. I can't do the nudity because they're enormous. So my agent said, you can talk him out of it. And I said, no, you don't understand. He loves this part. He wrote this part and he loves it. And I can tell you what it was now. It's been enough years. My character of Babs, I didn't shoot it because I went into wardrobe and the wardrobe lady, who was one of the best in the business, took one look at me and said, this is not going to work. She did everything to try to make me look like I had silicone boobs, but I did not. So the next day I got a call saying, you're from Blake, you can't be in the movie. And he was upset and I was somewhat relieved because, okay, I'll tell you what the scene was. I can do it now. The scene was, I'm a free spirit. I take off my top. I'm outside sunbathing in Malibu and my boobs get burnt, sunburnt. And I come into the house, and I go up to the doctor, who's played by Robert Preston. For those of you who know who Robert Preston, he was the Music Man. So I go up to Robert Preston. I go, what do I do? My boobs are burnt. And he goes, put them in the freezer. So I put my boobs in the freezer. And then I pull my boobs out of the freezer. And I go, what do I do? My boobs are frozen. And then he takes a spoon out. And he starts playing Layla on my boobs. I couldn't do it. Rosanna Arquette took over.
Good thing he didn't do. Good thing he didn't do Babalu.
What?
Good thing he didn't do Babalu.
No, I never shot it. But
if you're just tuning in now, folks, rewind so you get the full story. Jill Jacobson bears all on the Jim Masters Show Live.
I did. There's so many.
What a story that is, huh? Layla.
Yeah, I have so many stories.
I mean, how do you?
But I didn't shoot it. She had to shoot it, and anyway, they paid me for 4 weeks in the film, and that was exactly the amount of money I needed for a breast reduction. But
That's amazing, huh? Wow. What a story.
Crazy story.
Are you, is there a memoir in the offing?
Send someone to me. I've had several people come to me.
Oh, I don't doubt with your stories. Yeah.
I've got way many more.
Yeah.
Because I was fortunate enough to get into the business when we had major movie stars. I mean, we have movie stars now. You know, Brad Pitt, George Clooney. We have Meryl Streep. We have major, but in the olden days, we had so many that, yes, I have stories.
A lot of stories. And again, so many incredible roles and so many incredible features and things you've had an opportunity to be a part of that, you know, are still out there for people to enjoy and to appreciate. You have a great range too, as well, Jill. You're able to, you know, take on a role and really knock it out of the park.
I wish I could send you this.
What is your, you know, everybody has their way of preparing for a role. What is your method? What do you do when you have a role that you got coming up? What are some of the things you do to get ready for it?
I start thinking about the life of the person, what she would wear, what kind of clothes she would wear. You know, we have to do that on our own now. Actors have to do all that because we don't have the opportunity of meeting people anymore, unfortunately. In my day, we got to meet people, and people would tell us, the director or casting director would say, you're wearing the right thing, try this. We don't have that anymore. We have to do that on our own. And I just start thinking about what I'm going to wear, what my makeup would be, what my hair would be. You just start thinking about all those things. And then the more you think about what you're going to say, the more it becomes you. At least it becomes me.
Mm-hmm.
And I think, well, she would never do that. She would do that. She would never do that. Things like that, just, they start formulating inside of you.
Have you ever had a role where it was so deeply formulated inside of you that it was hard to separate yourself from it or pull away from it or shut it off? You got so deeply intertwined with this story and this person's life?
Well, there have been several. Summer and Smoke is a hard one to shake. Very hard to shake. It went in so deep. And every night that I had to perform it, I would have a breakdown on stage. But I'll tell you, there was Nurse Sherry. I was very young, and I was Nurse Sherry. I was so young that in the movie I get possessed by the devil, and I start killing everyone in the movie, and that affected me in the worst possible way. It was really bad. That every time I went out to dinner with people after that, I couldn't shake it because I was just too young. I was 20 years old. I was too young. I couldn't shake it. And I would just start staring at the knives at the table. Not good. This is not a good story to tell. I'm not that way anymore. I grew up, and I don't do that anymore. But when you're that young and you have to become that character, it scared me. It scared me so much. What can I say?
I could see that. Yeah.
You're
going to the depths of human emotion, human reaction, and how, you can tip over the edge at any time, in and out of sanity. I mean, all these things. And when you're playing a character like that, I imagine too, like similar kind of answer probably would come from like a Jack Nicholson with One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest, and being immersed in that kind of storyline and taking on a character in the way that he did, which was so convincing, as you've always been in your roles as well. It's got to be difficult to sort of separate, right? To separate.
I couldn't understand. I didn't have no one was around me to tell me what to do and how to shake it. And I had no one around me at that time. I was just a baby in Hollywood.
Are there elements of it that are still with you?
Not Nurse Sherry. Not at all.
You were able to work through all that.
Yeah. Not at all anymore. I mean, I was essentially a child and no one was helping me. No one helped me. And my director was kind of a scary guy. I just didn't have anyone helping me to get out of it. And I was scared. I didn't know what to do or who to turn to. And you need a friend. You need an acting coach. And I don't think I ever told this to anybody, really. But that was the worst. That was the worst. I mean, aside from the tragedy that I went through, on stage, doing Summer and Smoke. It was hard but I wasn't killing anybody. So that's the good news. I wasn't killing anyone.
Exactly. Why do you love this so much? You've been doing it such a long time, and it's, you've given 150% plus in everything you've done, as we've seen just little snippets and little teases about this illustrious career of yours, Jill. Drama, thriller, comedy, all of it, suspense, and important roles that are serious, taking on serious matters, serious topics, and then the lighter roles and the roles that get us to laugh and chuckle about the craziness of life. What is it about you in terms of some of those blessings and joys that are in your life that keep you forging forward and wanting to be in it and a part of it all.
I'll tell you something. Comedy can save your life. I just found a mosquito. Comedy can save your life.
She just rehearsed that shtick. There's no mosquito there. She just did that to make you
Was
laugh.
that brilliant or what?
Well, that was fantastic.
Thank you.
That,
Thank you very much.
we timed that
That was
perfectly.
amazing. It was coming towards me. Damn it! I hate mosquitoes.
See how you did that?
I hope Peter doesn't get mad at me, but I hate mosquitoes. I don't know. Are they part of the PETA movement? I don't know. But
we'll find out probably in about a half hour. No.
Wow.
No, but that one had fangs and might have had.
I saw the fangs.
It might have had malaria. You know,
Yeah.
you gotta take care of yourself.
I
The
really
dogs
hope
are there.
I
You
got
don't
it.
need that.
I got it. I hope I got it.
Yeah, that you were we can verify that you were under attack.
I was.
You get a pass on that one.
They're so nasty now, aren't they?
Yeah. But you're right about comedy is a wonderful balance to it all, right?
Even during my chemo and even everything that I was going through, I didn't lose my hair. I'm so grateful I didn't lose my hair. But radiation is the worst, I must tell you. But in between everything, I was cracking jokes. I was cracking jokes.
You were
at
making
Cedars.
the medical staff laugh and everything,
Yeah,
right? Yeah.
at Cedars-Sinai, I was cracking jokes, and then every time I had to go in to get infusions,
Yeah.
I was telling jokes.
Telling jokes.
And I'm like, wow, I think that this is healing me.
It is. Yeah. Yeah. And helping them too, because a lot of times the staff, at the medical hospitals, they see everything you could possibly see, and they need some relief, right?
It's not a pretty picture.
No.
And there were people there when I was there getting the chemo and radiation that they couldn't do it all the way. They had to drop out. And so when you're finished getting the full session of it, they take a picture of you and they want to celebrate. You don't feel like it though. I mean, you don't feel happy.
It's not like a birthday party, right?
Totally worn out. But they take a picture because you went through the whole thing. And so many people they couldn't do it. I felt so bad. I felt terrible that they couldn't do it. They couldn't go all the way, and you need to. So
it's the physical toll that it takes. Yeah.
Emotional, physical. It's so hard on you that you just got to keep going. You got to keep going. And if you can crack a joke or be around somebody that's going to crack a joke, it helps. It really helps. And then when you have an opportunity to get up on stage and make people laugh, there was one of the times I got up on stage and told everyone that I had cancer. And but I told people the pros and cons. I made a joke out of the pros and cons of cancer. And that worked too. It works. I'm not just saying that I only want to do comedy. I have a penchant. I love drama. But if you can, like Meryl Streep is one of my favorites because if you watch closely, everything she does, drama, the biggest dramatic roles have an infusion of comedy in them. She brings that out, and I adore her. I think she's one of the greatest gifts we could have right now, is that you can't do just one thing. You've got to bring it all. Life is both. Don't you agree?
It is absolutely right. Every day is unique, different. You never know what's going to happen and what's going to come your way, and it's how you react and how you deal with it that really counts.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
How
the friends that you have along the
like
way as well.
right, what you said
It
is
may
very
not be a
important.
lot.
Right, but
I
just
didn't
those
have a lot.
core key people who are there through thick and thin. Um, I mean, obviously, you look at your life having had this situation through a different, more fine-tuned lens. What what is the way that you're looking? What are some of those pros of having it in terms of how you perceive and move forward with your life?
Well, I think you don't have to waste time anymore on people that aren't worth wasting time on. You can decide quickly, is this person worth it? Are they not worth it? It saves you time. You've got more time for other things. It's pretty cool. I in my pros and cons, I was talking about how lonely I got and how I wanted a boyfriend. And I talked about maybe I could order more things on Amazon so I could be around more men, from Amazon, delivery boys. And then I thought, well, maybe I shouldn't order things that were lightweight because they deliver it and run away. And what I wanted I wanted them to stay. So then I ordered things that were heavier, heavier weights, things that would force them to stay a little longer. And please don't go. And I order more things on Amazon just to be around people or men specifically. Yeah. Okay. I mean, I could come up with some more stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a great way to approach it all, and you do have a lot of blessing in your life, and you've given us a lot of blessing through everything you've done and continue to do. And I think this is a different element of Jill that we're seeing. That, I mean, you've always had a depth to you, but this is one that is, and you've taken on these roles that have depth as well, but this is your own depth, and you're sharing it with everybody else, giving them hope, inspiring them, lifting them up through it all with the use of comedy, but also through the use of your own story and the authenticity of it. And I think it's a beautiful thing. It's added to and expanded on the Jill Jacobson story in such a beautiful way, my friend.
Bring on somebody to tell my story. I've had 2 people that came, and but it didn't work with either one.
Yeah.
And I would love to tell these stories.
Oh yeah.
I would love to do that. I mean, I've got from Rock Hudson to Jane Wyman to, I mean, people may not know who they are.
Oh, of course.
But
Some
we
of the
would,
icons,
the people that would read it might know.
Right.
I mean, it's not that old. People know.
No, it's
some
not.
of them are. I mean, I wasn't around during the Jimmy Stewart days, but I certainly know who he was.
Absolutely, and very important part.
Do you know that when he came back from the war, the first movie he was offered was It's a Wonderful Life? Did you know that?
That I knew. I don't know if our viewers did, but I had heard that story, and how amazing that is, huh?
Well,
and how appropriate.
The Second World War was very traumatic. I guess they all are. But there was a lot. It was pretty hard on everyone.
Yeah, Pearl Harbor in the middle of that. Yep.
My father lost his hearing. Anyway, Jimmy Stewart was flat. I mean, it was really, really hard. And he came back and he wasn't being offered things that he wanted. And then in walks It's a Wonderful Life. And do you remember the scene? I'm sure you do, where he's already met the angel, and he's at the bar, and he's putting his putting his head in his hands. And he says, I'm not a religious man, but please, please bring back my life. Please bring it back. And he's pleading and crying.
Yeah.
And he just put everything from the war into that scene. I'm crying. I'm sorry.
No,
He put everything from the war into that scene. And I mean, when you watch it again, please focus on that one scene, which is exquisite. I don't know why he didn't win an Academy Award for that. I really don't.
He should have. Right.
Beautiful movie.
Yeah.
It's such a beautiful movie.
It is. It is.
And I mean, people can watch it every year.
Right.
It's exquisite.
It is. Such a beautiful message, too, for all of us.
Oh, my God.
Yeah.
What an exquisite.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm an old-fashioned girl, okay? I don't pretend not to be. I'm an old-fashioned girl, and I love
beautiful thing.
The messages that we get.
That we need to share, too, and pass down and be together. And right, it's all important.
We really do, especially now.
It's all very, very important.
We have to be kind to each other.
Yes.
That's the message, is be kind. You know, you see somebody walking down the street, say hello, just say hello, smile.
Right.
You know, and you're making their day a better day. Why not? It's not going to cost you anything.
Exactly. Kindness. Right. Spot on. Yeah.
Kindness is where we should be right now. Not mean, not anger. Don't hurt people. So anyway,
That's exactly right, my friend. You are a beautiful soul inside and out, Jilly, and love having you here and going not only down memory lane and talking about some of the incredible things that you've accomplished, great TV shows, films, and so much more, but just catching up with you and seeing things that you're working on and things you're passionate about. And I said last time that we would keep that porch light on for you, and we did, and you saw it, and you came through.
Don't turn it off.
We will keep that light on through, what did the post office say? Through rain and snow and hail and fog and everything. You've always got a place here at the Jim Masters Show, and I really, again, like I say, we don't even call these necessarily interviews. They're free-flowing conversations. There's nothing scripted. There's no teleprompters, nothing reading any scripts or any of that stuff. And we're having just a good heart-to-heart, sprinkling in some fun and again, some nostalgic material as well. Our viewers commenting and loving it and wishing you well. And thanks for sharing about, your own personal journey with health. And I think that's very inspiring as well. And as always, I hope you enjoyed the time with me as much as I absolutely have with you, Jill.
So much. You have no idea how much. So much. And I want to send you my new commercial. It's it's really silly. I can't
wait to see that. And is that airing now where people can see it?
No.
So it's coming soon.
In-house. I think it became an in-house of Fox Sports in-house joke that they showed to everybody at Fox.
Oh yeah, the staff, right?
The whole staff, but we got paid, so. Onwards and upwards.
One of our faithful in Arizona, one of our JMS Lovities. This has been a fascinating conversation. Thanks, Jill, for sharing all of your stories with us. I wish you continued success and above all, continued good health. Merlin says, kisses, Jilly, coming from Canada. Some wonderful kisses. That's beautiful. We thank everybody, some of our regulars. Kathleen Walker. Thanks, Jill, for coming back to see us. Wishing you continued success and sending lovely hugs and prayers. You are an inspiration. And Pam and Marilyn says, thank you, Jilly. And
hi,
Jim. Pam as well. We've got so many fabulous people here wishing all of us well. And I think that's a beautiful thing. Thanks, everybody, for the comments. Don't forget to leave a comment on the YouTube channel as well. Jill, from the East Coast to the West, we send you lovity once again. And come back and see us again and keep in touch. And I wish you nothing but all the best, my friend. Okay.
Tell me how to send this to you too.
I will. I'll shoot you an email and we'll get that. So I'd love to see that. That would be
Have
a
a good
blast.
day. Thank you so much for having me.
We love you, Jilly. From Jimmy.
I love you, Jimmy.
You be
Bye.
well. Thanks so much for being with us. You were generous with your time and we appreciate it. We love you, Jilly.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Jill Jacobson. Wow. What an icon, but also somebody with a big heart and an incredible soul, and sharing elements of it with all of us here on the Jim Masters Show live series. We hope you enjoyed it. Took the conversation in so many different directions. She was so open and real about her cancer situation, and so happy that things are looking so good for her. And, you know, what a spirit too. You know, she's been trudging through and taking it head on. I'm sure every day isn't always easy, and I'm sure every day isn't always lollipops and roses and vanilla ice cream, but she's got a spirit. She's got a can-do within, and she has this ability to be able to sort of pull it from within and bring it to the top, which I think is incredibly inspiring for everybody else, wouldn't you say? And all the amazing roles that she has been a part of on some of your favorite television shows and series and specials and movies through the decades. You know, it's incredible, through the 1970s and continuing today with Star Trek and so much more that she's been a part of. And we just sprinkled in some of her illustrious career, but not just talking about her career and her accomplishments and accolades. You know, anybody can do that. What we do here is have conversations with the person and find out what it is that makes them tick, and what are some of the beautiful things that they enjoy about life, and what are some of the things that motivate and inspire them to do what they do and do so well, but also on a day-to-day basis, some of the ways that they get through life. And hopefully some of these great conversations with the laughs and the entertainment and everything else, maybe they inspire you and lift you up, and maybe you get an opportunity to go back and join us nostalgic memory lane and look at some of these things that we've been talking about as far as her career. But at the same time, maybe it gets you to think about your own life, and life is precious and short, absolutely, and it's got to be lived. So live your life and come see us as often as you can. We guarantee to entertain and inspire and have a good time with all of you, with our celebrity friends and guests. Boy, do we appreciate a return engagement. Jill Jacobson, award-winning acclaimed television, film, stage actress, joining us here once again on the Jim Masters Show live series. We hope you enjoyed it, everybody. If you did, do give this episode a thumbs up like on our YouTube channel, Jim Masters TV. Share this episode on your social media. Subscribe to the YouTube channel. It doesn't cost anything. Just click the subscribe button. That is Jim Masters TV. Don't forget to click the notification bell, so that way there you're alerted about all the episodes. And don't forget to leave a comment in the comments section right underneath this episode. Interact with us. What are some of your favorite memories of Jill and some of the iconic performances that she's had? And again, she's still out there doing her thing, and she loves life, and we love her. Jilly joining us here on the show once again. Wow, this was epic. And again, such a moving and inspiring conversation as well. Kathleen Walker, thank you. We always show this when somebody is very supportive, extra supportive of our series. And this is what you call a super chat. And Kathleen Walker, who's watching right now live in New York City, kind enough to celebrate this episode and all the episodes of our show. We really appreciate that, Kathleen. Thank you so very, very much. She's a real faithful lovety, as we call some of our faithful. We call everybody that watches our show a lovety. But there are those who are with us all the time, watching, sharing, supporting, commenting, liking, celebrating, suggesting guests, loving the guests, and we really, really appreciate that. So we thank you for being with us as well. If this was your first time, come see us again. Don't forget, you can go back in the JMS archives on our YouTube channel and see hundreds of episodes available. And we thank you for the watching, the subscribing, the liking, commenting, and sharing all of it here. This is your host, Jim Masters. Thanking you for your time this time. Till next time, of course, Jill, you can find her on her website, jilljacobson.com, and of course, social media and everywhere else. And we're on social media too, on Facebook, Instagram, and on X. You can find us at Jim Masters TV. Yeah, we tried to make it convenient and easy for you. There it is, right there. Come follow us on our social media as well, and come see us again. We'll keep the porch light on for you as well. As we always say, don't forget to love one another, take care of one another, and don't forget to do the very same for yourself. It is so vitally important. We all need one another, and hopefully this show brings us all together. We'll see you again on the next one. I'll be right here waiting for you. We love you all. Jim Masters saying take care, be well, and cheers.